Hey Med Circle, Kyle Kittleson, Callie, the lab right here, and of course, Dr. Ramani. Now we just finished filming an entire series on narcissistic abuse.
Yeah.
And after we wrapped, I was just going like this to you, saying it was so good, so actionable. People will know what to do, what their options are, and what's happening in this very confusing time. But I know you have a question that you want to ask our audience first. So
yeah, what I want to know from the audience is how many of you have had a significant relationship with a narcissist? It may not just be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It could be your mother, your father, a boss, a best friend, a brother, or a sister. Let us know down below, because it would be very interesting to see how many of your lives have been impacted by narcissism.
we'll be reading those comments, and in this video, Dr. Ramani is going to explain 5 of the signs that you can look out for to see if you might be a victim of narcissistic abuse. Dr. Ramani, take it away.
The things we look for is, number 1, if a person is plagued by self-doubt. They even find it difficult to make simple decisions like ordering in a restaurant, or what class they should take at school, or where they should even go to dinner. Those kinds of simple daily choices seem to get short-circuited by the fact that they no longer really trust their judgment. A second sign is a sense of helplessness. It feels like nothing that a person in a situation does works in that particular relationship. So whether they try to be nice, whether they try to be distant, whether they try to communicate more, nothing seems to work. And that's often because nothing will work. So as a result, what you'll see is people will say, I feel so helpless. And that helplessness starts to extend to other areas of their life. And the sad thing is, helplessness is often one of the last stops on the train before hopelessness, which can then often be associated with things like depression. A third thing we'll often see is social withdrawal. People will often be very embarrassed, ashamed, confused, or humiliated by being in these relationships. They can't see a way out. They're often afraid of being judged. They feel silly that they're in this situation. And as a result, instead of seeing themselves as human, that any of us could be in this situation, they'll often withdraw from other people. They're sometimes also afraid that if they share what's happening in their relationship, other people are going to tell them, you need to get out, and they don't feel ready yet.
Right. And we talk about in the series that when you go up to a friend that you think is in a narcissistic relationship and you say leave, it can often keep them in the relationship longer, sever the relationship between you and that person. There's really only negative consequences. So I like that in the series you go through what they should do instead. But let's go to number 4.
Number 4 is a lot of anxiety. Now, anxiety is very non-specific. We're living in the era of anxiety. Everyone is experiencing it. But this is a specific kind of an anxiety. It's anxiety that does come from helplessness, and it can be manifested by constantly worrying, not just about the relationship, but about a variety of issues. Anxiety about what will happen if this relationship ends. Anxiety about what will happen if this relationship sticks around. And then that can also impact other areas of life, like eating, sleeping. It just becomes sort of this overall sense of worry that can really overwhelm the person.
Now, what about the final and 5th one?
I think the final and 5th one is something I would call a chronic sense of second guessing. That it kind of relates to that sense of self-doubt, but there is second guessing about bigger ticket items. What if I had done this? What if I hadn't done this? And the challenge then becomes, as a person, often then becomes paralyzed when they're in these relationships. They tend to feel like they can't move any which way. They can't move to get out of it. They can't move to communicate about it. They can't even move in other areas of their life. So I guess it would be second guessing and paralysis that many people in these relationships feel like no matter which way they move, they're walking into an abyss. And so they feel absolutely paralyzed, absolutely stuck, and then they start to second guess every decision that they've ever made in their entire lives. And obviously these 5 signs, and there's lots of others, things like depression and sadness and sometimes irritability. People don't feel like themselves, but those 5 signs are the patterns we most typically see in people who are enduring narcissistic abuse.
If those signs made sense to you, or you're thinking, hey, that sounds like something I've been through, you will definitely want to check out the series at medcircle.com. But while you're here, we're going to give you a sneak peek inside the series to explain that although at times you may feel, like you said, helpless and hopeless, there is actually help and there is hope. Here's an inside look with Dr. Ramani from the series. So why do they do this to people that they say they love and care about?
When you ask that question, Kyle, it gets at two complicated things. Number one, what is love?
We don't have time for that.
We do and we don't, because I think that's the key. Because a lot of people say, he says he loves me. How can he do this? He must not love me. And I'm like, slow down, sister. He said he loves you. You're going to have to buy that. Here's the problem. This thing he's selling is love. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It's like you go to a bar, someone give you a glass of wine, you're like, what the hell is this? It
could just be grape juice.
It could just be grape juice, right? So, in some ways, when narcissists are selling love, it's sort of like the grape juice of wine. It's something very superficial. It is something that lacks the depth that a healthy, intimate relationship has. It tends to be what we call very instrumental. And in that way, narcissists view human relationships as conveniences. So in other words, it's like this cup. Right now, I like this cup because it's going to give me what I want to drink, okay? Very convenient, and I'm actually quite focused on it now. In 10 minutes, I'm not going to give this cup a second thought because I don't need it. That's how narcissists treat people.
You can watch that entire series at NArc, but make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel where we put out new content every single week, and give us a little thumbs up on that like button. Thanks for watching. I'm Kyle Kittleson. Remember, whatever you're going through, you got this. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, then why not subscribe? Click right here for new episodes and new series every week. And to access exclusive mental health videos that we only release at NArc, check out the links below.